All right. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. You're gonna have to let me know. I want to make sure my audio is working before I get into this case. I'm really only looking into this now because a lot of people have asked me to at least talk about this case a little bit. And then today, my wife told me, she said, "Why aren't you talking about this case?" And there's a couple of reasons I haven't. And one is because this isn't one of those that is going to be like, as much as I want to have hope and as much as I want to believe in everything, I just feel like when I first I couldn't even watch the full interview of the stepmother. I'm going to watch it with you guys and talk about it. I know a lot of you guys have seen this, but I have all the press conferences. I have the interview with the stepmom. I have the statements the mother and father have made. I've got some reports pulled up, different things like that. As we go, if I need to, I'll do a Google Earth and go, see where this place is at. But I kind of have an idea of where it's at already, so I probably can just take you there. So this one's hard to talk about because, one, I have an 11-year-old, and my 11-year-old saw Gannon's posters up in the McDonald's up in Woodland Park, and was asked about this case. Colorado Springs is literally 25 minutes down the road from where I live. And so this case is it's again so close to home. I mean, this thing's not around the world. It's not on the other side of the world. It's down the hill. And so I haven't wanted to talk about it, not because I don't think Gannon deserves to be talked about. I just, it's just hard to talk about. So as you guys roll in, I'm going to just this is going to probably be an hour, maybe an hour and a half long live, just to get you caught up. I'm just going to roll through some of this stuff. So the press conference, I'm going to start with the press conference from that the police did, and I just want to listen to what they say officially and how they present it and what they say. So this is a press conference from, I believe, January 30th, and Gannon went missing on the 27th, I believe, is let's go ahead. December press conference.
Coming today. I'm Jacqueline Kirby, and I'm the Media Relations Manager for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. With me today are Sheriff Elder, Under Sheriff Carey, Law Enforcement Bureau Chief Brad Shannon, Investigations Division Commander Andy James, Lieutenant Mitch Mahako, and Lieutenant David Manzanilla. We also have Albert Stauch and Landon Hoyt, the father and mother of Gannon. We are in awe of their strength. They have shown in the midst of an unimaginable situation that no parent ever wants to find themselves in. But today we're here to give an update on the case regarding Gannon. Lieutenant Mitch Mahako will be giving the brief, and we are hoping this will answer some, if not all, of your questions. If it does not, we will be entertaining questions after the press conference is over, but I'm asking you to show a level of professionalism and decorum. If you have a question, please raise your hand and I will point to you. Gannon's parents will be available for a statement, but no questions at the close of the press conference. So without further ado, Lieutenant Mahako.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here at our briefing tonight. Again, my name is Lieutenant Mitch Mahalko. I head the El Paso County Sheriff's Office Investigations Division. On Monday, January 27th, 2020, at approximately 6:55 p.m., EPSO dispatch received a call for a runaway child in the 6600 block of Mandan Drive. Approximately 7:32 p.m., Gannon Stauch was entered into state and national databases, NCIC, CCIC, as an active runaway. At the time, deputies conducted an initial investigation to include interviews with the reporting person, and at that time, the reporting person had said that he was last seen between 3 and 4 p.m. That day. Deputies then conducted additional follow-up and a search of the area for Gannon, but unfortunately with negative results. On Tuesday, January 28th, 2020, at around 12:29 p.m., the case was turned over to EPSO investigations. At that time, investigators began collecting information and conducting interviews. They collected information to include video surveillance, neighborhood canvas information, followed up on additional leads, and exploited and used different various techniques and technology to conduct this investigation. The investigation continued into the early morning hours of Thursday, January 30th. At that time, into Wednesday, January 29th, and then through the 29th into Thursday, January 30th. At that time, the case was upgraded from a runaway to an endangered missing child based upon the information that was gleaned from the investigation so far. Because of the upgrade in the status of Gannon, resources from the NCMEC or National Child Missing National Missing and Exploited Children team, ADAM, as well as resources from the FBI Crimes Abduction Rapid Deployment or CARD team have been requested by the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. There are numerous resources at that level that assist us and give us an additional footprint in the investigation. These folks are experts in the field of search and rescue and will be a good partner with us during this investigation. Moving forward, I can tell you that some of the things that we are looking for from the community are continuing tips, additional social media post reviews. We're vetting all tips that are received through the El Paso County Sheriff's Office tip line. Ms. Kirby will be providing that here to the press as well. And then please understand that this is an active investigation that includes continuing witness interviews, as well as evidence collection, trying to figure out exactly where Gannon is at and bring this case to resolution. I can also let you know that really we are exhausting at this point every avenue that we can to find potential leads and to get Gannon located. At this time, I think we would open for questions.
Yep. Yes.
What exactly happened that it goes from a runaway to endangered missing child? What is it? Just simply time, or?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So there's a number of factors in this particular case. Obviously, we've been having cold weather, so the weather was one issue. The time frame, as you pointed out, sir, is another issue. The fact that he's actually under the age of 13, he's 11 years old, and he also has specific medication that he takes. So we want to make sure that all those resources are being poured into finding. Yes.
Eric Ross with Channel 5. We've been hearing that the stepmother may have not been fully cooperative with law enforcement. Can you talk about that?
Appreciate that question, sir. At this point in time, we are conducting multiple interviews, and what I can tell you is that each lead that we have is exhausted. Excuse me.
About how many tips have come in regarding this case?
I don't have that number, but I can tell you that we are getting numerous tips both through our dispatch center as well as through our tip line. And at the same time, investigators are monitoring social media. But please understand, we are not using social media as a way to garner that information. So if anyone has that information, we ask that you call it into our tip line at 520-6666.
Danielle.
Are there any active searches going on right now?
We have been actively searching for Gannon from the start. Different levels of searching have been being done, but we are continuing to search. Yes.
So,
Yeah, you're just watching the first press conference that I saw. I don't know if it's the first one they had, but I hadn't watched it all the way through. I hadn't listened to it. I haven't looked at this case very deeply, so I just wanted to go back through, look at this stuff. So that's what we're watching right now.
Located, and so that's what we're focusing on.
Eric.
Has there been any suspects or persons of interest identified?
So we are looking at persons of interest, and let me please clarify on that. Persons of interest to us are people that may be able to give us additional information on the location of Gannon, and so we are actively following up on those leads.
Danielle.
are there any specific locations you have investigators searching tonight?
At this point in time, I'm not ready to release any of that information.
Chase.
We were told that there was a search going on at a nearby landfill. Would you mind commenting on that if the search is going on over there?
Sure, I appreciate that. So at this point in time, what I can tell you is that we've been in contact as part of our normal protocol with local trash companies in the Lorson Ranch area as well as other areas. And I can tell you that we are not conducting, as an agency, we are not conducting any searches at landfills at this time.
A lot of people looking to volunteer in the community down there. How should they do that without getting to investigators?
Sure.
We will be working with NECMEC, and we will be posting on our social media sites volunteers with an application process and locations when that need arises. We're in the midst right now of getting those processes in place so that when NECMEC says they're ready, we're ready to deploy the community. We know they want to help. We want to give them the opportunity to help. We just want to make sure that it's organized and it doesn't hinder the investigation. Chase.
So you said that you upgraded to, in danger, but is there any sign of foul play or a criminal investigation or anything, or is it kind of too early to tell at this point?
So I appreciate the question. I think what's important at this point is that we're focused on trying to find Gannon, and that his safety is paramount to us. So we're heading in that direction right now.
What details do you have about his missing school Monday? Did he have a doctor's appointment?
I am not aware of those specific details, so I'm not going to speak to them.
I have a question. Is it any registered sex offenders or folks of note in the neighborhood or maybe along the trek you may have taken that are a focus of the investigation?
As I said before, there are always multiple persons of interest, but what I can tell you is that registered sex offenders are able to be searched through the community. That is not necessarily something that we are looking at, but at this time.
Eric.
I hate to ask this question, but he never mentioned that we are hopeful to find Gannon and bring him home safely. Is there a reason why what's the probability here? What are the odds that he may not be alive?
I always believe in the best, and I believe that we will be finding Gannon.
Okay. All right. So just a few closing comments. I want to stress something very important in this case that we have seen. The misinformation that is being spread on social media has been an absolute hindrance to this case. Every rumor, every thought, everything somebody thinks they heard, they saw, it takes away from our ability to vet credible tips and find Gannon. It prevents us from being timely in our response. And I cannot stress this strongly enough. Any information that is prematurely released or has not been released from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office is not credible. And if you're taking my time and our detectives' time to follow up on things and postings you're seeing on social media, if they have not come from us, you are wasting your time. So please, we encourage the community, follow the Sheriff's Office social media platforms. Any pertinent information involving this case will be put out as the investigation allows. That is the only information that is credible. Everything else is rumor and it's innuendo, and it takes away from our detectives' ability to timely vet credible tips so we can find Gannon. So I wanted to close with that today. Now, the mom and dad, Gannon's parents, are going to make a statement. There will be no questions at all. So I'm going to turn it over to Albert and Landon.
I'm Landon Hyatt, Gannon's mom, and I encourage you guys, I know many of you mothers and fathers, I encourage you just to seek, find him. I'm so thankful for all the outpouring help that this case has brought. My son is a very loving kid. He wouldn't want harm on anybody at all. And it's so hard to just think, why is this happening to him? I have no clue. But my kid deserves to come home. My kid has a purpose. My kid has a life. And it's important to me. And it's important to everybody that's standing in this room. Gannon, Bubba, little man, mommy's hero, wherever you're at, mommy and daddy's here. We're begging and pleading for you to come home. I know that's your biggest wish, is to see mommy and daddy standing here. We're here, Bubba. We're here for you, and I can't wait till you're found, because I have hope that you are going to be found. You are my hero. You are the reason why I have life. He's so special to me. I don't think many people can understand. My child was a 1 pound, 6 ounce baby. He had a 10% chance of survival. If he survived, he would be profoundly disabled. None of that is accurate. He's gifted and talented. Do anything for anybody. So I'm begging, I'm pleading, if anybody has any type of lead, put yourself in my situation. Ask yourself, what would you do? My Savior is a great Savior. And I know I have hope and that my son's going to be here. I'm thankful for the churches, the pastors, the outpouring support from this community, from Albert's military, family, everybody, the detectives. It was you that was sitting at the table, and you told me that 90% success rate, and you told me that I'm going to find Gannon. I believe that. It's the first time I had hope since I got that call on Monday. I have hope. So please have hope with me. I'm begging. Bring my baby home. Bubba, I love you. Mommy loves you so much. Nova loves you. Lena loves you. This room is filled with people that love you, and this community loves you too. So please come home, baby. Please come home.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Landon said, that what an incredible community we have. I mean, everybody in here in a team, incredible team that I came out my front door, I think it was Tuesday, and there was 300 people out there searching my neighborhood. It blew me away. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Again, and Daddy loves you so much. Please come home.
Okay, that will conclude the press conference. We will be putting out a new NECMEC missing poster on our social media sites at the conclusion of this press conference. So please share that. And again, pay attention to the social media. Family deserves that. Thank you.
I have a question real quick. If it does get to a situation where there is a search, where people want to help out? Is that how you'll communicate it with social media?
Yes, it will be through our social media site. It will have the application process as well as the locations of where people can meet so they can help. We recognize we live in a great community and they do want to be that support and help search for Gannon, and we don't want to hinder that. We just want to do it in coordination with NECMEC and when it suits and when it's good for the investigation to do that. I also did want to say that our tip line, if anybody has any tips, again, as the lieutenant said, we will not be taking tips via social media. Please call the Sheriff's Office tip line at 719-520-6666. Mihalko. All right. Absolutely. It's Albert Stauch, Everybody good?
So if you're just joining us, this isn't new stuff. I'm just going back over the stuff that's been released. Gannon went missing on the 27th. He's been missing over a week now. They've had a few different press conferences. That's one of the first press conferences that I remember seeing. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I just watched it for the first time just now. So I'm going to watch the video that the stepmother put out with Channel 11. Now, before I watch this video, I'm going to tell you right now, when I started to watch it before, I just couldn't get through it. Again, this is one of those uncut, real raw videos. This isn't an edited video. This is there is some edits in it. There are some edits in it, but it's just a real raw video. I kind of say the same thing I said when people were watching the Shane video in the Heidi Brizard case. There's a lot of things happening in this video, but I can tell you that this video is a little different than Shane's video, and my thoughts on it are a little different. So I'll start with this. One, the lady didn't want to face the camera. She didn't want to be on camera. That's why the interview is done to her back. Now she says it's because of threats and online stuff, and you're going to hear a lot about that. I did hear some of those things in this video. I tend to see, like, when we just watch this press conference where there's a mother pleading for the return of her son, she's doing it looking at the cameras. That's the whole point in doing a press conference. Mom is not out there because she wants to be on camera. Dad's not at this press conference because they want to be on camera. They are pleading for their children. The woman that's doing this interview doesn't want to be on camera, but she wanted to do this interview because she's been getting a lot of stuff via social media. Now, you heard that sheriff's officer. Now listen, when a sheriff's officer tells you to take it easy on social media, the first thing social media does is freaking turn up the notch. I don't know why that sheriff's office would ever, why they would do this. Hey, El Paso County Sheriff's Office, let me tell you a little secret. If you don't want people to talk about something on social media, don't talk about it. Hey, if you don't want people to talk about something on social media, Sheriff's Office, talk about it. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to talk about it on social media. They're gonna speculate. They're gonna create Facebook pages. If you don't believe me, sheriff's officer, whoever, public relations officer, under sheriff, listen to me. When there's blood on the streets, you buy property or you create social media groups. This is simply what we do. This is what's happening. This is what the world we live in. I don't know why. I can't understand why. At the same time, I'm sitting here talking about it on social media. And so if you don't want people to talk about it, Mrs. Sheriff, officer, deputy, the best thing I can tell you to do is nothing, because if you do nothing, they're going to talk about it. If you do something, they're going to talk about it. If you talk about a video, or if a video gets mentioned, or if something happens, they're going to talk about it. So you can't stop it. So before we listen to the interview from the stepmom, let's step back a little bit, because surveillance footage has been released. Let me see if I can. Oh crap! Somebody's knocking on my door. That's about you. Oh, no worries. I'm not in the middle of a live video. No, it's okay.
Yeah, your comforter drying.
Oh,
It's
no
just-
worries.
I had to wash it.
I'll grab it.
Yeah, it's just.
I'll grab it out of
it's
there.
taking a long time.
No, no worries. All right, thanks, man. Nice to meet you. Look at that. Getting interrupted by the homeowner. Watch out. Good thing I didn't get killed on video. I told him I was on a live video, though. Oh. Where are we? That was fun. Getting interrupted by the homeowner. Jeez. That's such a good train of thought going. Oh. All right. Let me see what I was pulling up. I was about to pull up surveillance footage. That's what I was going to pull. Here we go. So let's. Nice. Here we go. Let's see if I can watch this surveillance footage.
Check out the President's
Oh.
Day like going.
Oh, but that just broke y'all's head. Oh, that's terrible. Somebody getting in the truck there. I'm going to rewind this. So there's a guy walking right here. He's going to the driver's seat. So he's just in the car now. Let's see here. He drives off. Oh, he's going to back into the freaking driveway. He's about to pull. This is like a Chris Watts thing. I can't zoom in. Oh, they're going to freaking dissect this video. Oh, I can't even believe the internet hasn't blown up already on this. So what's he doing? Why did he back in? Whose truck is this, by the way? Anybody know whose truck this is? Does anybody know who this truck belongs to? Have y'all figured that out? So he just backs out. Does anybody know whose truck this is? the dad's. This is the dad's truck. Someone says it's the stepmom, so people just don't know. The dad's truck belongs to the father. The dad's truck. Okay. Belongs to the family. Okay, so is that him getting in right there? What's going on here? Somebody right. What happened right there? So there's the dad. Did somebody get in? Did he get in the truck? I'm just trying to see this video. Who's that? All right, there's somebody else. There's two people down there. Okay, it looks like there's a little boy. It does look like there's a little boy there. So, did he get in the truck yet? Is he in the truck now? Is it the mom? Somebody said dad is out of town, stepmom is driving the truck. Well, who's with him? Somebody texted me just now and they're saying dad was out of town, but somebody's driving. All right, so what's happening there? So now somebody else gets in the car. Gets in 130. That's a stepmom. I don't understand. It's just her and him, no dad. So she's already in the truck. And she drives off. People are naked. So then what? Okay, so then they come back. And so then they drive back in. This is another look at it. And they're back at a different time. Oh, they're gonna freaking pick this video apart. This is like, it's not like, I know, like this is two houses. It looks like it's two houses down, or at least one house down. So now she's sitting in the truck for a second. She's just chilling. She just chills in there for a second. Then she gets out here just a few minutes later. See, that just looks like a different person in my mind. Let me look. Let me look at that. Is that the same dang person getting out of the car, though? That's what I don't know. Is that the same person that went into the car? She has something in her hand, some paperwork or something. She's wearing all black. You really can't see her very well. I'm sure the original video is a little bit more. All right, so this person's wearing all black too. Let's see. Dang, channel on the news. Why didn't y'all zoom in? So there's definitely two people right there right now. He lets her, okay, so definitely two people there. And then he gets in the vehicle there. She can have some. And then he doesn't get out, or they don't show him getting out. And she says some weird stuff. So let's go listen to her interview. This video is going to be freaking cut, chopped. They're going to pick this thing apart. Hey, I hear everybody says the story is that she left with Gannon and then didn't come home with Gannon. Now, her story that she says in this interview, she says some specific times. Now they have specific times on these videos, and they're going to ask questions because now I want to say this, that if Gannon were to walk out and leave, it's very likely that these cameras wouldn't have caught him. The reason these cameras caught that motion or whatever, or the reason they show it, is because that truck. I don't think unless these cameras run 24/7, I don't think they do. But I guess we'll see. Let's just put it this way. They've had this footage from before when they released it to us yesterday or the day before, whenever this footage came out. This footage didn't just show up. They collected this neighbor. He went back and found this footage on or about that same time on Saturday. So what? Yesterday was Monday they released it. So they've had it for a couple of days. Whether they had it at that first press conference or on the 30th, I don't know. But they've had it for a couple of days. It's Xfinia and motion detection. I have the same security system Brandy says. Yeah, it's so the reason why, like, I think they caught this one is because it's a vehicle in motion. I'm not 100% sure that if a person were to walk out over at that house, it would have caught motion. It might have. Mine sometimes catches motion. I don't have Xfinia. I have the Arlo ones. But first of all, so that video is not a clear video, but it does raise some questions about, okay, well, where did you go? Why did you leave? And who was with you when you left? And then when you came back, who wasn't with you? And so it'd be interesting to know how the stepmom or reacts to that. Now, we know how the dad reacted, and the dad reacts really weird. But let's watch. I want to watch this stepmother's interview because I just want to talk about it. And I'm going to just watch it. I'm going to listen to it all the way through. I don't know how long it is. It's like 10 minutes long, the version I have. So I'm going to watch the stepmother's interview. I'm going to make comments on it. I've already kind of made some comments on it. I can tell you right now, this is the first video I've done on social media. So, Miss Sheriff's Lady, I have not been spreading any rumors on social media about this case. So don't be trying to blame Dad with a phone, because that ain't gonna happen. Let's watch this video. See what happens here. I'm watching this from Dad with the Phone Facebook page, but I did not record this video. I ripped it straight off.
You are?
I am Letecia Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20 some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home. And of course, I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't complying. And can I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time. Correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives. And so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives. They're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know. But I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun. And my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there.
They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got to, like, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, you know, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was put in the handcuffs in the store, you know, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. You know, they could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this? Instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check your chat. Doing great. Well, I forgot we're still got a recording. Still can hear you okay. Okay. Yeah. Sounds like we're good. Every once in a while, my mic will give out, and I want to make sure that's not going to happen here.
Turn around, would you? Have her turn around.
I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily.
Whoa, he just came out of nowhere.
The way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh, yes. Wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. And we've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. most importantly for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario. And, you know, he's always helpful. And he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house. And we have 2 little cute dogs. And he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids, we have to remind them and things like that. And that's okay. But he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? We don't. That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here? Because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike and she can verify that Gannon was at her home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. If she doesn't want to, that's okay. But you're allowed.
That's fine.
Sounding okay so far?
Yes, I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in depth because she is still, you know, a child. But I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Okay. I guess when.
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore. And for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted. And, you know, that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that. And that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
Right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with
Yeah.
legal stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope am I on camera now?
You are
okay.
still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative. But to me, it's okay that they think those things because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher. And they just didn't know that. Like we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract. So I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, you know, or any of those things. And it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status, you know. And
do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
It definitely is. And, you know, here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care like about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like we just should not, we should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens because Gannon's going to come home.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
What did she mean by my husband? Like, does she want a some sort of? Does she want some sort of apology from her husband? She wants some sort of apology from her husband? I don't understand what she meant by she wants some sort of apology. Somebody says he kicked her out. Maybe he will show it again after this. What do you want me to show again? I don't know what I want me to show. Did he kick her out? I don't know. He kicked her out of the house. How does anybody know this? How does Kate know if he kicked her out of the house? Y'all don't even know I'm out of the house right now. What are you talking about? Kicked her out of the house. I don't know. Maybe. Let me just tell you, he kicked her out. Everybody's saying she's out. He kicked her out. Do we have surveillance footage of him kicking her out? I want to know that. So I just did an El Paso County search during that with her name and from the date of birth that I could get from somebody. She's not in custody right now. I know that, or at least she's not arrested. She may be in like KK custody but if they were going to arrest her, they would make an announcement. It would blow up right now. So I don't think she's in custody with the cops, at least from what I can tell. She just said it in the interview. You see, she just kept her back turned. I think she kept her back turned from the camera, and that was a poor decision. If you're going to plead, if you're going to make a plead for an apology from the internet, damn it, get in line, girl. You know what the internet says about me? You think I'm waiting for an apology from the internet? Come on. You cannot ask for an apology from the internet. The internet doesn't apologize to anyone. Never, ever. The internet has never apologized to no one. Never, ever, ever will the internet ever apologize to you. The people on the internet, they're not going to apologize to you. I don't know why you would do this press conference. If you think that it was going to shut people up on social media, oh my God, let me tell you the same thing that I told the sheriff lady. All you did was give people like me something to talk about, right? And then let the people on the internet judge you. I'm not judging you, by the way. I'm telling you, you made a poor decision not facing the camera. I'm telling you that you made a poor decision asking for the internet to apologize to you. All right? You should never ask the internet to apologize to you, especially if your stepson's missing. So what I'm understanding is that you were the last person with him. They have video of what looks like they believe to be your son and you getting into your husband's car, and it doesn't matter. You don't even tell this story. Like, you don't tell this story. Right? You don't tell the story about you leaving with Gavin and coming home with Gannon. Sorry, I have another case on my mind, Gannon. And so I don't know where you get this story about I don't know where the hiking story. Y'all must have been on like Jennifer Lawrence's channel or something. But you went on a hike, so that means your daughter must have been talking about it. Man, I feel bad for you, Mom. I do feel bad for you. If you end up being involved in this thing, let me tell you something. If you end up being involved in this, the internet is not going to be nice to you. If you're not involved in this, The internet's not going to apologize to you. They may delete their shit, right? Some of the YouTubers, when they like say bad things about people and then it turns out not to be true about those people, they'll like cut their videos up and they'll delete some stuff to try to rewrite history. But the truth is, history is getting written every day on YouTube. It's getting written every day in Twitter and in TikTok and on Facebook. And you can cut and you can chop and you can delete and you can edit. But the fact is, if they said it about you, it ain't going away. They're not going to apologize to you. Just take that little hint from Dad with the phone. You can say whatever you want. You can plead for apologies. They're not going to apologize to you. And if you had something to do with this, oh, honey, I hope you didn't. I hope you didn't have anything to do with this. You know, I didn't talk about this case right when that interview came out. It was done on the 30th. It was on my wife's birthday. If I look at this as a cameraman and if I look at this at like from a professional standpoint, God, we got to talk to these reporters. They got to do a better job. You can't release an unedited video like that. You're not Dad with the phone, right? Gosh, you could destroy a woman's life with that video. And the truth is, she may not have anything to do with it. I'm not going to convict her based on that video. Now, Dan May or his counterpart might try to. Don't get me wrong. She may be as guilty as all guilty. But on that video alone, I can't convict a woman, right? But let's watch some more video. How about we watch some more video? Let me pull up. Here we go. I got a new 13-minute, looks like a 13-minute press conference. That is one that came out and it talks about all this video stuff. It talks about her video. It talks about surveillance video. Let's see what the lady has to say. I mean, man, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Do you ask questions? Okay. Even if they do ask questions. First things first, please just introduce yourself.
Yes. I'm Sergeant Deborah Minott, DEBORAHMYNATT.
We're on day 8 now. Since Gannon's disappearance, tell us where we're at now. We saw a lot of activity yesterday and last night at the home. What's the latest?
So we are still continuing parallel investigations as well as search efforts for Gannon. Our number one goal is to find Gannon and to bring him home safely.
We're not seeing as many, people out on the streets, as you will, as you did over the weekend. They were everywhere.
Yes.
What's going on today?
That's true. So you might not be able to see the larger groups that we had out there, but just please understand that we do still have those search efforts continuing, and they might be at more centralized, more concentrated areas because that investigation led us to those concentrated areas. So just because you don't see the larger groups, you don't see the horses, you don't see the dogs or the search and rescue team, that does not mean that we are not focusing on this investigation. We're absolutely doing that.
What could you tell us about having the crime lab at the family's house twice yesterday? First all day and then back at night.
So the crime lab is used to, again, get pieces that's a part of the investigation, and that's what they're used for. So they're out there and they ensure they're doing this with the proper measures. They're using gloves, they're doing different things because they might come across something that might be part of the investigation. So it's very serious work that they have to do step by step, and that might be a need. Part of the investigation requested for them to be out there, and that's why they were there.
Sergeant, what can you tell us about this video?
So the sheriff's office will not be commenting or confirming any specifics of the video that was shared to the media. What we can let you know is that it is in fact a part of our investigation.
Do you dispute the neighbor's description of what is seen in that video?
We can't confirm any specifics.
How big a piece of that video is to your investigation?
So right now, I can't give you a scale on how big one part is in comparison to another. But please understand, again, any piece in this investigation is big for us. So any even eyewitness, a possible person that maybe they saw somebody in the neighborhood, something suspicious, even if to everyday citizens it might appear to be very small, it is to us a very big part. So this video may be a big part in that investigation. Therefore, we can't confirm any specifics on it.
Is the timeline now into question? Being put into question?
The timeline in this entire case is going to be looked at. So our investigators are looking at everything step by step.
So just going back to the original release, it says that he was last seen January 27th in his home by his stepmother between 3:15 and 4 o'clock. Is that still accurate?
That piece, yes, that was reported to us the day of, and that piece is what is part of the investigation.
Is there a suspect at this time?
No, I cannot discuss that right now.
Any people of interest or persons of
So
interest?
please understand that persons of interest could be any person that has information to any case. And so as any investigation, our wonderful, talented detectives take tips and leads and they go until it's exhausted. So any bit of it, they'll go until it's exhausted. And then once that happens, during that path of the investigation, we may come across persons of interest. And then again, the specifics of those names of persons of interest, we will not share because again, it's a part of the investigation.
And you do not have any suspects at this time? None. Okay. Talk to us about the massive social media following, I guess this case has brought. There's several search groups for him, community members coming up with all of these hypotheses,
yes,
what they think. Is that taking away from your investigations?
Yes. So speculation is one thing, and theories and these kinds of ideas is one thing for someone to have. When they provide that to the sheriff's office, we take it seriously. So any information to any law enforcement agency, if you have a tip or a lead, we have to vet each of those. We have to ensure that it is factual and it takes time away from our detectives to try to figure out if this is a good lead or if it's not. And the time that they spend doing that absolutely will take them away from that investigation. So speculation and theories is not something we want you to report. We want you to report the factual information, things that you've seen, and it might not even be that Monday. It could have been the week prior. Anything that you might have seen with your own eyes is information that we would like for you to provide, not speculation and not theories.
So like this neighbor in his video.
So if we could also talk about, as what Lieutenant Paul just said in the press conference, although we have to make social media part of the investigation and put it in the investigation, that no leads anymore are going to be followed up unless they are called into the tip line or emailed into the tip line. I think that's really important.
Okay.
So if people really want to find Gannon,
use those two methods. So we put out social media updates on Gannon Search, and we use social media for the sharing purposes. Comments sometimes are great, but please understand that tips that you provide will only be taken in two methods, and that's through our tip line, which is 719-520-6666, or through our email, which is tips@elpasoco.com. So if they message us, they're using social media to comment, we are not taking those. We are only taking it from those two methods.
And then yesterday, I was the first person to bring you this video,
Yes.
and you guys asked me to not share it because you said this will maybe hurt the investigation.
Yes.
Now we're seeing some station puts it on their,
Yes.
website. It's going everywhere. What's your take on this?
And so we understand that media, you guys are great to work with, and we understand that you were the first that called us and actually asked us what we thought about it. And we truly appreciate the relationship that you built with us by asking us first before putting it out there. And please understand, we wanted that kept. We wanted that kept because it is a big part of our investigation. And to share it immediately, we hope will not be detrimental. We hope it will not jeopardize the investigation. But the reason we asked you not to do that was because there is potential for that. And as a law enforcement agency, that's the worst that we could do, is to purposely, intentionally jeopardize any investigation.
So are you still asking us not to put this video out?
Yes, if someone were to call me today and ask prior to putting that out there, I would ask the same thing.
I know that you don't want to discuss the specifics of it, but as you mentioned, facts are important in this case, and how specifically the person who took that video described this is a fact of the case. So a neighbor described this video as showing the stepmother and the 11-year-old boy leaving the house. Several hours later, that stepmother coming back alone.
Yes.
Do you dispute that description of
Well,
this video?
and just understand, sir, so when we have factual information provided, if it's on a public forum, that could be scrutinized when law and order takes place. So information that is factual, if it is displayed to where we're seeking potential justice, we have to do it in an organized effort. We don't want that on a public forum.
But if his description is wrong, you would want that out there too. If he's describing this as something that it's not, you would correct us. So we're just trying to make sure that his description is accurate. And is it accurate?
And again, I can't confirm the specifics in the video. I can't, and to tell you the truth, I haven't seen the video myself. I can't confirm it. And the sheriff's office as a whole will not be commenting on the video that was shared to the media.
I have a couple of questions about the stepmother. I read that she rented a car on the day that he went missing. Is that accurate?
And that's part of the investigation too.
And is she still cooperating?
Part of the investigation.
Okay, so you can't say whether or not she was cooperating. I know before, I think you said that she was.
And a lot, any bit of info that might be given may portray the wrong judgment, and we don't want to do that as the sheriff's office.
Is he still considered a missing persons investigation, or has it become criminal?
It is missing persons, endangered, because of those factors, again, with the weather, his age, and medication he was taking, and also the time frame.
And so going into their homes, I mean, we saw obviously their video, Metro Crime Lab there and everything.
Yes.
You know, what would you say to the community saying, yeah, this isn't criminal, but you do have investigators going in and taking evidence out of the home? Can you talk to that a little bit?
And, you know, just as an example, we used a search and rescue dog who had a really strong scent, and we get pieces of information that might not be criminal, that might just lead to where he might be, those kinds of things. And so when we get those pieces of evidence, it has to be maintained and protected. And again, that's why we use Crime Lab. They're really good with that. They're experts in the field, and that's why we do that. So it might not be criminal. And there are some cases where Crime Lab is involved and it's not criminally involved.
To all the people who are following this and praying for this young boy's return, just like everyone in the community is, I mean, is there anything that you can give us for an update for them? Do you feel like you're getting closer? Do you hope something will come up in the next few days?
Just please entrust the process. And I understand, you know, coming from an agency, there are so many of us that are parents here, and we understand this is a devastating, you know, just to imagine, it's very devastating if that were you in the parents' shoes. And so please understand that this is sometimes a slow process. And I know that might be frustrating, but we have very skilled people here at our agency, and we have skilled resources that we're using with the FBI, with the Colorado Springs Police Department, and a lot of different resources that we're using to put the best method together. Because again, all of them, each of them that have put passion into this case are thinking of Gannon. And it doesn't matter what piece that they have of this pie, they are thinking of Gannon and they want to bring him home safely.
Can you just kind of reiterate for some of the people the timeline? You know, I think we've all heard a little bit of a different thing. He was at school, he wasn't at school, he was on a hike. Can you go into any of that?
We can't, unfortunately, I can't talk about those specifics.
Are you still saying that he went missing between 3 and 4 o'clock?
That was the only information relayed to us, and therefore the first day that the reporting party called in, that was indicated to us. That was the bit of information we had to work with. There were some other factors and information obtained during that call that we type coded him as a runaway because of information we received.
And when did you get that? When was he reported missing?
That was the evening of Monday, the 27th, which was approximately 6:55 p.m.
And that was reported by the stepmother, is that correct?
Yes.
So that original timeline that was just asked about is based upon the initial call from the stepmother?
Yes.
If this video from the neighbor would have been released on Monday when he was still considered a runaway, would it have been in the public's eye?
I'm not sure. Not sure.
You're still assuming, are you assuming he's dead or alive?
I'm not going to comment on that at this point.
you know, we always hope
We
that-
have the best. We have the best hope that he is alive, and we're going to find him and bring him home. And that is, again, each of the people that are involved in this investigation all have that same hope.
Have you spoken to the stepmother since that piece of video came to light yesterday?
I can't comment on that.
And just one last question. The neighbor that we spoke to said that when detectives originally came to his house, they looked at those hours around 3 and 4, and then it wasn't until later that he decided to look back and see that video. So are you guys looking at a wider scope now that you know? That
I don't. Yeah, I won't be able to comment on that either.
Do you encourage people to do what this neighbor did and to look back and see if there is any other info they can give to you guys?
Absolutely. So again, just not any bit of information could help. So if you do have those video cameras and you live in that neighborhood, we absolutely ask that you look through those. And I know some of them are timed out, 7-day captures and things like that. So it might not just be a focus on the Monday, focus on days prior. Anything, any bit of information is very valuable to this case, and to provide that to us, not in a public forum, but to provide that to us through those 2 outlets that I shared earlier.
Anything else?
No.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm the one that you're like really
Okay, I'm like, I'll take
think
that one
that
off
one,
first.
yeah.
Yeah. I remembered that one yet, because if I take one slight step back, it might take your camera.
I always forget it. Like we're walking around a leash.
I don't know. I don't feel like there was a lot of hope when she was given that brief. Oh man. If you're just joining, we are just talking about Gannon's case. Went missing on January 27th, 2020. Missing from Colorado Springs. His date of birth is September 29th, 2008. He was 11 years old. He's a male, white race. Hair is brown, eye color brown. Height is 4'9". Weight is 90 pounds. Both photos shown of Gannon, who was last seen at home on January 27, 2020. Gannon was last seen wearing a blue jacket, blue jeans, tennis shoes. Oh. El Paso County Sheriff's Office said Saturday that the agency conducted an extensive search through the boy's neighborhood. However, Jacqueline Kirby, a spokeswoman for the agency, would not say if searches found anything that would help locate Gannon. More than 160 volunteers from supporting military agencies joined the sheriff's office to comb through Lorson Ranch, a neighborhood southeast of Colorado Springs where Gannon was last seen. The boy's stepmother, Letecia Stauch, told authorities he was on his way to a friend's house Monday when he went missing. Officials have not said if Gannon ever made it to the friend's house. Over the last week, detectives said they've received more than 100 tips that are being vetted. Thousands of Facebook users have joined social media groups entertaining speculation about the missing boy, despite the sheriff's office warning that misinformation spread on social media has been an absolute horrendous to this case. Friday, blue ribbons were placed throughout Lorson Ranch to show support for the family and let Gannon know he's desperately missed, organizers said. Saturday, the office thanked 10 groups that assisted in the day's search efforts. The group search will continue into Sunday. We would like to remind those who live in or around Lorson Ranch area to be mindful and check areas on your property a child may hide, to include yards, window wells, outbuildings, buildings, culverts, the sheriff's office said. This young kid, so sad. This is going to be a tough one because it's got, I mean, this is, let's, it's, today is Tuesday, the 4th. It's been a week and a day since Monday. So it's been 8 days. There's a couple of things that could have happened. One, somebody close to this family is involved. Somebody, something went down. Something happened. Could be another Jamie Kloss case where somebody kidnapped him and they're holding him. 8 days is not a good time. It's not good. It doesn't bid well for, I don't know. It's hard to talk about these cases. I have an 11-year-old. I got a 12-year-old boy. I got, when I think about things like this and how I would react and what I would be doing, none of us know. None of us know. I don't think I would be asking for apologies from the internet. It's I know law enforcement is doing their job, but I mean, I bet they told her not to leave town. When you're the last person, you report that you're the last person to be with someone, and then when they find out that the story that you're telling isn't necessarily the truth because they have video evidence, they got cell phone evidence. They're going to be able to know where you went if you took your cell phone with you. They're going to be able to follow those pings and understand what path you took. So it's a crazy one. If y'all want to come on and tell me what you think, you're going to have to come on live. If you're watching, and you want to come on, you can come to this link that is in the chat, and I might let you on the screen. I don't want to take phone calls because I don't really want to take phone calls, so I can let you come on chat. If you've got information that you can come on and spread speculation too, because I know that's what some of you will do. But if you have information, I'd love to hear. Somebody tried to come in and they got booted out. I'd love to hear more information that's out. I don't want to hear what you heard on somebody else's YouTube channel because I don't believe YouTube channels. So I put the link in if you want to come in, if you want to ask a question, come forward. You can do that. I think it let me put the link in. Maybe it didn't. Oh no, it went in. You can copy. All you need is a web camera and some headphones. But you're being recorded and you will be live. Wait, try again. Who's deleting my links? How did my link disappear? I just want to make sure it went on Facebook. Let me see. I think I'm a part of some of those groups on Facebook. Oh, but I'm not logged into Facebook. So it could be busted line for sure. Seemed like she felt like she was real confident. The volume sounds like waves of water. It's probably the fan on the laptop. Probably Colorado Springs Crime Watch. It's got some news. I'm not ready to blame Stepmom yet. I haven't been trying to watch her Facebook comments. This is the first I've ever looked at this case. I looked at it just very briefly when they first started talking about it. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me at those links. Hey, I just want to say one thing to the Sheriff's Department. Hey, Sheriff's Department, don't be trying to blame social media for stuff. Because a lot of times social media is going to bring you information that you didn't have before. And when you try to blame social media for stuff, it just doesn't look good for you, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, the internet is not going to shut up tomorrow. It's not going to shut up about cases. It's not going to shut up about investigations. It's just not going to happen. Hey, stepmom, if you want to plead for your stepson, face the camera. Face the camera. The internet is not going to apologize to you. You may have made it worse for yourself. Just saying. I know you didn't ask your attorney because he would have never let you do that press conference. Shit. I don't even listen to my attorney, and my attorney won't even let me do a press conference. So, I know your attorney would have told you to be quiet. What you did not look good for your stepmom. To mom and dad, Gannon, I'm praying for you. I'm a dad with 3 kids, and I could only imagine what the turmoil is going through your mind and your soul. So I'm praying for you. I'm praying for the safe homecoming. I'm praying for an outcome that even in our own understanding is hard to believe could happen. I'm praying for Gannon to come home. Thanks for watching Dad with the Phone tonight. Y'all have a good day. See y'all on the flip side. I'll be in touch.